Now, Jai Gurudev, so how does Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji emphasize speed and intensity in executing Project Bharat? Gurudev has emphasized the need for a rapid, almost warlike mobilization going village to village, day by day, without pause. He believes that transformation cannot wait for years but must happen swiftly. To meet the urgency of today's challenges, the project plans to start on Guru Purnima and continue until Kartik Purnima, covering hundreds of villages in this short span. This aggressive timeline reflects Gurudev's strategic wisdom. By intensively engaging villagers every single day, the energy remains high, momentum builds, and impact multiplies. It's not just a social impact, it's a movement charged with spiritual urgency, fueled by the determination to awaken India's sleeping potential quickly and effectively. Now, for someone who has only lived in urban areas, what would they experience when joining Project Bharat? It's a truly eye opening and humbling experience. Many city dwellers are disconnected from the realities of village life, its simplicity, challenges, and deep rooted wisdom. Volunteers witness firsthand the warmth, resilience, and traditions that sustain rural India. Staying overnight in villages, engaging with locals, and participating in the daily life builds empathy and transforms perspective. This exposure rekindles a connection that modern life often breaks. It helps urban volunteers rediscover the richness of Indian culture and spirituality beyond textbooks. More importantly, it inspires a heartfelt commitment to serve and uplift, realizing that true progress is inclusive and starts from the ground up. Now, how do you address concerns about religious sensitivities during Project Bharat activities? The core principle is respect and neutrality. Volunteers do not promote any religion but focus on universal human values like love, compassion, and service. By emphasizing commonalities rather than differences, the project navigates sensitivities gracefully. Activities are designed to be inclusive and non proselytizing. We always advise volunteers to avoid assumptions or judgments. Instead, listen to villagers, understand their unique cultural context, and celebrate diversity. This approach fosters trust and harmony, making the project a unifying force rather than a divisive one. Now, can you share some examples of the kind of stories or changes villagers have experienced through Project Bharat? Absolutely, there are numerous uplifting stories from villagers overcoming social conflicts to youth gaining confidence and vision for their future. Some communities have reported improved mental health, a reduction in stress, and a newfound enthusiasm for education and cleanliness. Many villagers have also started collective initiatives like organic farming, water conservation, and cultural festivals. These successes demonstrate how a spark of awareness can ignite widespread transformation when nurtured with care and dedication. Now, what role does technology play in Project Bharat? Technology primarily helps in coordination, registration, and impact assessment. The website and digital platforms enable volunteers to sign up, access resources, and report progress efficiently. It also helps share inspiring stories and reach a wider audience, creating a digital community supporting the movement. Now, besides management, technology is used thoughtfully to complement traditional wisdom rather than replace it. The aim is to harness modern tools to amplify the timeless message of spiritual and social upliftment. Now, how can someone contribute if they cannot physically join the village visits? There are many ways to contribute remotely: sharing stories, spreading awareness on social media, supporting fundraising, and volunteering for online support roles. The movement welcomes all forms of participation with equal enthusiasm. Every small act acts like encouraging a friend or join or facilitating local workshops help build the momentum. The vision is collective and every contribution counts toward India's renaissance. Now, how important is the role of youth in Project Bharat? Youth energy is the lifeblood of this movement. Gurudev often stresses the need for young people to lead with passion and responsibility. Their involvement ensures fresh ideas, vigor, and sustainability for the project. Empowering youth also helps create role models in villages, inspiring others and creating a positive cycle of change. The project focuses heavily on nurturing leadership qualities among youth volunteers. Now, what challenges do volunteers typically face on the ground? Jagadav, volunteers may encounter initial hesitation or skepticism from villagers, logistical difficulties, and the physical demands of rural travel. However, with patience and empathy, these challenges are overcome. Now, cultural barriers and languages differences can also pose obstacles, but these are opportunities for deeper engagement and learning. The shared goal of upliftment bridges most gaps. Now, how does the Project Bharat align with the principles of Vedic Dharma? Project Bharat embodies the essence of Vedic Dharma, duty, righteousness, and selfless service. It revitalizes Dharma by promoting social harmony, ethical living, and spiritual awakening. The project acts as a living expression of ancient wisdom applied to contemporary challenges. Now, it's a beautiful synergy where spirituality meets action and Dharma translates into dynamic service. How can interested people learn more and stay updated on Project Bharat? The official Project Bharat website and social media channels provide regular updates, stories, and volunteer opportunities. Joining the mailing list or online groups is recommended. We also encourage attending local introductory sessions and webinars to gain clarity and inspiration before embarking on the journey. Now, what message would you like to give to those hesitant about joining Project Bharat? Hesitation is natural, but remember that this is a unique opportunity to serve the nation and grow personally. Gurudev's message is clear. This is a movement for the heart, not just the mind. Take the first step and the rest will follow. Don't overthink or wait for the perfect time. The villages are calling, and your presence, however small it may seem, can create miracles. Now, what kind of training or preparation is provided to volunteers? Volunteers receive orientation sessions covering cultural sensitivity, communication skills, and logistical planning. They also learn about the philosophy underpinning Project Bharat to approach their work with understanding and humility. This preparation ensures volunteers are mentally and emotionally equipped to handle field realities, fostering respect and effectiveness. Now, how does the Project Bharat plan to sustain momentum after the initial intensive phase? Post the initial phase, local volunteer networks are encouraged to take ownership, continuing the work with ongoing support from the central team. The idea is to create self sustaining communities. Long term sustainability also comes from integrating spiritual practices and community rituals that reinforce unity and purpose. Now, how does the movement address the gender inclusivity in villages? Gender inclusivity is a priority. Women are actively encouraged to participate and lead. Workshops focus on empowerment, health, and education for women and girls. Respecting local customs while promoting equality is a delicate balance but essential for true progress. Now, what role do local leaders or elders play in Project Bharat? Local leaders are respected partners. Volunteers engage with the elders to gain acceptance and insight, which facilitates smoother integration and cooperation. Elders' blessings and participation also symbolize continuity with tradition, lending credibility and strength to the movement. Now, how is the success measured in Project Bharat? Success is measured both qualitatively and quantitatively through community feedback, improvement in social indicators, and the vibrancy of volunteer networks. Beyond metrics, the intangible sense of peace, unity, and hope in villages marks true success. Now, how does Gurudev's personal leadership inspire volunteers? Gurudev's boundless compassion and clarity ignite passion in volunteers. His call to act fast with love is a powerful motivator. His example shows that spiritual wisdom combined with decisive action can transform society. Now, how can this project influence India's future? By awakening millions at the grassroots, Project Bharat can shift the nation's trajectory toward holistic well being, social harmony, and self reliance. It plants seeds of dharma and unity that can heal divisions and build a prosperous and peaceful India. Now, what advice would you give to a volunteer preparing for their first village visit? Go with humility, patience, and a readiness to listen more than speak. Remember, you are there to serve and learn. Respect local traditions, stay adaptable, and keep the mission's spirit alive in your heart. Now, how important is community storytelling in Project Bharat? Sharing stories creates connection, inspiration, and a sense of shared journey. It also helps document impact and motivate others. Stories preserve cultural heritage and build collective memory, strengthening social fabric. Therefore, finally, what is your heartfelt message to all Indians regarding Project Bharat? Project Bharat is a call to awaken, unite, and serve with love. It's an invitation to be part of India's greatest revival, one village at a time. Embrace this opportunity with an open heart. Together, we can weave a tapestry of peace, prosperity, and spiritual richness that honors our past and shapes our future. Now, how does the Project Bharat and Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar Jesus envision the role of youth volunteers in Project Bharat? The vision Gurudev holds for youth is inspiring and transformative. He sees young volunteers as the heartbeat of Project Bharat, the energetic force capable of bridging tradition with modernity. According to him, the youth carry immense potential to ignite a grassroots revolution of peace and well being in villages. He encourages them to step beyond their comfort zones, shedding preconceived notions and biases about rural life. Gurudev stresses the importance of an open mind. He urges youth volunteers not to approach villages with any agenda to promote a particular religion or ideology, but rather to serve with pure intentions, creating harmony and shared progress. The youth are envisioned as connectors who listen deeply, engage sincerely, and empower locals with tools for holistic well being, education, and self reliance. The volunteers, he says, must embody compassion, patience, and humility. Their journey through villages is not just a mission but a learning experience, one that deepens their understanding of India's rich diversity and challenges. Gurudev firmly believes that when youth take ownership of this mission, the ripple effects will extend far beyond villages, inspiring a nationwide cultural and spiritual renaissance. Now, what advice is given to volunteers about dealing with religious diversity in villages? Gurudev's mission and message on religious diversity is clear. Respect and inclusiveness are paramount. He advises volunteers to maintain an open mind and heart without any preconceived judgments or biases about any community. The core principle is not to target or convert anyone but to foster an environment of mutual respect and collaboration. Volunteers are encouraged to appreciate the rich tapestry of beliefs present in every village, be it Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, Jain, Buddhist, or tribal faiths. The goal is to connect through shared human values like kindness, compassion, and service. By focusing on what unites rather than divides, volunteers can create bridges of trust. Now, Gurudev cautions against carrying any fixed expectations or assumptions about villagers' receptiveness. Instead, he asks the volunteers to be patient and allow positive responses to arise naturally. If someone is not interested in joining, it is perfectly acceptable. The emphasis is on voluntary participation, and the sanctity of each individual's beliefs must be honored. Now, this approach not only upholds ethical integrity but ensures a sustainable and heartfelt participation, making Project Bharat a truly inclusive movement for peace and development. Now, how does the Project Bharat plan to integrate modern tools with traditional wisdom in rural outreach? One of the fascinating aspects of Project Bharat is its a blend of ancient wisdom with contemporary technology. His Holiness Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankarji believes in the power of Vedic knowledge, meditation, yoga, ethical living, combined with modern tools like digital connectivity, online training, and data collection for effective outreach. Volunteers are trained to use smartphones and websites and mobile phones and laptops and computers to register their work, gather impact data, and share stories, which helps build a transparent and scalable model. This fusion enables tracking progress village by village, while also creating a digital archive of inspiring narratives. Simultaneously, the project emphasizes traditional cultural values and practices that nourish community spirit and individual well being. Yoga and meditation sessions, storytelling of epics, and local art forms are used to foster inner peace and social harmony. Gurudev's vision is that this hybrid approach empowers villagers to stay rooted in their heritage while accessing new knowledge and opportunities. It helps build resilience against external pressures and accelerates holistic growth, physical, mental, social, and spiritual. Thus, Project Bharat is not just a social movement but a revival of timeless Indian wisdom powered by the tools of the modern world. Now, what challenges do volunteers typically face in rural outreach and how does the project prepare them? Volunteerism in rural India is an adventure filled with unique challenges, and Gurudev prepares volunteers for these realities with wisdom and encouragement. One key challenge is overcoming initial skepticism from villagers who may be wary of outsiders or change agents. Volunteers often encounter infrastructural issues like limited connectivity, basic amenities, and unfamiliar living conditions, which require flexibility and resilience. Language barriers and cultural differences also need sensitive navigation. Gurudev emphasizes mental preparedness. Volunteers are trained to remain calm, patient, and open minded. They are encouraged to listen deeply and observe with humility rather than imposing solutions. His guidance helps the volunteers shed ego and develop empathy, which is crucial to building trust. Additionally, the project's structure, training, online resources, and mentorship by experienced leaders equip volunteers with the practical skills from conflict resolution to effective communication. The mantra is clear: challenges are opportunities for growth. Facing difficulties strengthens volunteers' spirit and deepens their commitment. Gurudev's belief is that volunteers who endure and adapt not only contribute effectively but transform themselves in the process. Now, how is the success of Project Bharat measured, especially in such vast and diverse terrains? Success in Project Bharat is measured by qualitative and quantitative impact. Gurudev insists that numbers alone don't tell the full story. The transformation of individual lives and communities is the true metric. Quantitatively, volunteers registered data on the number of villages reached, participants in yoga and meditation sessions, educational workshops conducted, and health camps organized. This data is entered on the Project Bharat website to maintain transparency and enable scalable application. Qualitatively, success is seen in the change in villagers' attitudes, increased harmony among diverse groups, and revival of cultural pride. Stories of personal transformation, children empowered to continue education, women gaining confidence, youth embracing positive values are collected and shared to inspire others. But they also places importance on the sustainability of initiatives. The goal is to create self-reliant communities that can continue their progress without external dependence. Ultimately, success is a collective journey. Each small victory, each bridge built across differences, and each spark of peace counts towards the larger vision of a harmonious and awakened Bharat. Now, what is the significance of the Padayatra or the journey on foot in Project Bharat? The Padayatra is symbolic and strategic in Gurudev's vision for Project Bharat. Walking village to village embodies humility, commitment, and a direct connection with people. Unlike remote campaigns, the Yatra allows volunteers to immerse themselves fully in the daily lives of villagers. It breaks barriers of distance and technology, enabling face to face interaction that builds deeper trust. This grassroots approach aligns with the ancient Indian traditions of pilgrimage and service, where journeying on foot represents a devotion and sincerity. Moreover, the Padayatra fosters community participation. Villagers witness the volunteers' dedication firsthand, which motivates them to join and support the mission. It also helps the volunteers experience rural realities without filters, enriching their empathy and understanding. Gurudev stresses that the journey itself is transformative for volunteers and villagers alike. It's a moving meditation on meals where every step taken is a step towards national integration and inner awakening. The yatra culminates at a significant spiritual site, making and marking a collective achievement and renewed hope for India's future. Now, how does the project ensure that no village or community feels left out or targeted unfairly? Inclusivity is at the heart of Gurudev's vision for Project Bharat. The project actively avoids favoritism or targeting specific communities based on religion, caste, or region. Volunteers are instructed to approach every village with equal respect and openness. The principle of open mind, open heart guides every interaction. Villages showing positive interest are engaged first, but no one is coerced or excluded based on identity. This naturally creates an environment of trust and collective participation. The project encourages volunteers to build bridges across social divides by involving all community members, elders, youth, women, and marginalized groups in the programs. Gurudev teaches that unity is not only about uniformity but about honoring diversity while working towards shared well being. His philosophy rejects divisiveness and fosters mutual respect. By embedding these values in volunteer training and project design, Project Bharat safeguards against bias and creates a genuinely inclusive movement for national regeneration. Now, what is the role of storytelling and sharing personal experiences in Project Bharat? Jagadish, storytelling is a powerful tool in Project Bharat. Gurudev believes narratives humanize the mission and inspire others to participate. Volunteers and villagers are encouraged to share their personal journeys, challenges, and victories on the project's digital platform. These stories serve multiple purposes. They document real impact, build community pride, and motivate newcomers by showing tangible examples of transformation. Sharing personal experiences also helps volunteers process their own growth and stay connected with the larger vision. Moreover, stories act as cultural bridges, weaving together diverse traditions and viewpoints into a shared narrative of hope and renewal. They remind everyone that beneath surface differences lies a common humanity striving for peace and progress. Gurudev's vision is to create a living archive of India's grassroots awakening, one story at a time, amplifying voices often unheard in mainstream discourse. Now, how are the families and volunteers supported during these intensive outreach periods? Gurudev recognizes the sacrifices volunteers and their families make during Project Bharat. While volunteers dedicate time and energy to serve rural communities, their families often hold the emotional and logistical support back home. To address this, the project creates a supportive network where volunteers share experiences and encourage one another, reducing isolation. Regular online sessions and local meetups provide spaces for dialogue and mutual care. Gurudev also emphasizes clear communication with the families before volunteering, encouraging them to understand the purpose and benefits of the mission. This transparency helps build trust and reduces anxiety. Additionally, the project as organizers assist with basic needs during outreach, such as accommodation, food, and healthcare, so volunteers can focus fully on service without undue stress. By fostering a holistic support system, Project Bharat ensures volunteers remain balanced and families feel involved in this noble journey. Now, how does the project address skepticism or resistance from villagers? Encountering skepticism is natural when outsiders arrive at new ideas. Gurudev advises volunteers to meet resistance with patience, empathy, and unwavering respect. Instead of confrontation, volunteers are trained to listen deeply and understand villagers' perspectives. The key is to build relationships slowly, focusing on small acts of kindness and demonstrating genuine care. Gurudev encourages sharing personal stories and the benefits of practices like meditation through experiential sessions rather than preaching. Volunteers avoid rushing or pushing agendas, allowing time for trust to develop organically. Sometimes resistance fades as villagers witness the volunteers' consistency and sincerity. In case participation is not forthcoming, volunteers are taught to gracefully accept it and move on without resentment. Gurudev's teaching is clear: change rooted in force is fragile, change born of trust is enduring. The project's patient approach ensures the foundation of a lasting goodwill. Now, what are some of the unique experience volunteers have reported from the field? Volunteers often share transformative stories from their journeys. Many speak of initially feeling nervous but growing in confidence as they experience the warmth and hospitality of village communities. Some report moments of deep connection, children eagerly joining yoga sessions, elders opening up about their wisdom, youth embracing new values. Others describe overcoming challenges like language barriers through smiles and shared human emotions. Many volunteers express surprise at the richness of rural culture and the resilience of villagers despite hardships. They find their own perspectives broadened and their hearts softened. A common theme is the joy of being part of a collective mission larger than oneself, bringing light to forgotten corners and witnessing small miracles of change. These stories are cherished in the Project Bharat community, motivating others to join and reminding everyone of the profound impact of dedicated service. Now, how does the Gurudev's vision incorporate the ancient principle of Vedic Dharma with modern social work? Gurudev beautifully integrates the timeless values of Vedic Dharma or righteousness, seva or selfless service, and ahimsa or nonviolence, and satya or truth with contemporary social outreach methods. He teaches that these principles are not relics but living guides that nurture inner peace and social harmony. Project Bharat embodies dharma by serving the collective good, seva by selfless action, and ahimsa by respecting all life forms, and satya by promoting authenticity and transparency. At the same time, the project employs modern organizational strategies, technology, and communication tools to maximize reach and efficiency. This synergy respects tradition without stagnation, fostering a holistic approach where spirituality fuels social progress and social action deepens spiritual insight. Gurudev's vision is a renaissance of Vedic wisdom adapted for the needs of 21st century Bharat. Now, how is the leadership of the project structured to maintain its values and vision? Leadership in Project Bharat is decentralized yet deeply connected to Gurudev's vision. Experienced coordinators and officers like those from the Vedic Dharma Sansthan provide guidance and mentorship to volunteers across regions. The leadership team ensures that all activities align with the core values of inclusivity, respect, and service. Regular training, feedback loops, and transparent communication channels help maintain standards. Leaders act as role models, embodying humility, dedication, and openness. They facilitate problem solving and encourage innovation while keeping the mission's heart intact. Gurudev's direct involvement and teachings inspire leaders to prioritize the welfare of both volunteers and communities, creating a culture of accountability and compassion. This structure balances grassroots energy with the strategic oversight, enabling the project to scale without losing its soul. Now, can you share some examples of collaborative efforts with local governments or NGOs? Project Bharat actively seeks collaboration with local governments and NGOs to amplify the impact. Volunteers often coordinate with panchayats or the village councils to organize events like health camps, cleanliness drives, and educational workshops. Local authorities appreciate the project's non political inclusive approach and often provide logistical support like venues and security. Partnerships with NGOs specializing in education, women's empowerment, and health create synergies. For example, meditation and yoga sessions are combined with literacy programs or vocational training for a comprehensive upliftment. These collaborations help avoid duplication, optimize resources, and ensure interventions meet community needs. Gurudev's vision embraces collective action, acknowledging that sustainable change requires many hands working in harmony towards shared goals. Now, how do volunteers maintain their own well being during long stretches of rural work? Volunteers' well-being is critical to sustaining Project Bharat's momentum. Gurudev emphasizes that volunteers must care for their own physical, mental, and emotional health to serve effectively. Daily practices of yoga, pranayama, breathing techniques, and meditation taught by the art of living form the foundation of self-care. These practices build resilience, reduce stress, and keep volunteers centered. The project schedule allows rest periods and encourages volunteers to listen to their bodies and seek support when needed. Peer groups provide emotional support, and leaders monitor volunteers' well being closely. By maintaining personal balance, volunteers can serve with greater joy, clarity, and endurance, turning the mission into a path of self transformation as well. Now, what is the information and importance of digital platforms in Project Bharat's outreach and monitoring? Digital platforms are indispensable tools in Project Bharat. They enable volunteers to register activities, upload stories, and track impact and communicate across vast distances. This transparency builds trust among stakeholders and allows continuous improvement through data driven insights. Digital storytelling also raises awareness, inspiring wider participation and support. Moreover, online training modules and webinars prepare volunteers effectively even before they step into villages. Gurudev's vision embraces technology as an enabler, using it to democratize access to knowledge, preserve cultural narratives, and unify a dispersed volunteer community into a cohesive force for change. Now, how does the Project Bharat align with national goals of rural development and harmony? Jagudev, Project Bharat complements government initiatives by focusing on grassroots empowerment through peace building and education. Its emphasis on social harmony addresses the root causes of many rural conflicts, promoting coexistence and cooperation. By encouraging sustainable practices and reviving cultural pride, it contributes to holistic rural development. Gurudev's vision aligns with the idea of Antyodaya, the uplifting the last person, ensuring that development reaches the most remote and marginalized. The project's peaceful approach supports the nation's larger goals of unity and diversity and inclusive progress. How do volunteers handle sensitive social issues like caste or gender inequality during their work? Volunteers approach sensitive social issues with deep sensitivity and respect for local context. Gurudev teaches that change begins with inner transformation, so volunteers first embody equality and respect in their interactions. They use dialogue, awareness sessions, and inclusive activities to gently challenge prejudices. Programs specifically empower women and marginalized groups without alienating others. Volunteers avoid confrontation but please persist in sowing seeds of empathy and justice. Over time, these subtle shifts foster more equitable communities in line with the Gurudev's vision of a just Bharat. Now, how do cultural programs fit into the overall strategy of Project Bharat? Cultural programs are vital to Project Bharat's strategy. They celebrate local traditions while promoting message of unity and peace. Through music, dance, storytelling, and festivals, volunteers connect with villagers emotionally and spiritually. These programs revive pride and heritage and create joyful spaces for community bonding. Gurudev views culture as the soul of a nation, nurturing it strengthens identity and resilience. Cultural activities complement educational and well being initiatives, making the outreach holistic and deeply rooted. Now, what final message would you like to share for those considering joining Project Bharat? Gurudev's final message is an open invitation to all with a willing heart. Come with no fear, only love and service. This journey may challenge you but will also transform you profoundly. Project Bharat is more than a mission, it's a movement of awakening India's soul. Whether you stay 6 months or 6 days, your contribution matters. Open your mind, share prejudices, embrace diversity, and be ready to learn and grow. Together with sincerity and courage, we can bring a light to every village, healing divisions and igniting hope. Join us in this sacred mission because when Bharat awakens, the world awakens. Now, how does the Project Bharat support the preservation of local languages and dialects? Gurudev emphasizes the importance of preserving India's linguistic diversity, seeing it as a vital thread in the cultural fabric of Bharat. Project Bharat encourages volunteers to learn and communicate in local languages and dialects as a mark of respect and connection. This approach helps break barriers, build trust, and ensure inclusivity. In practice, volunteers receive training on basic local vocabulary and cultural etiquette to engage effectively with the villagers. Storytelling sessions often involve folk tales and songs in native tongues, reinforcing cultural pride. The project also supports documentation efforts where elders narrate stories, proverbs, and traditional knowledge in their dialects, creating an archive for future generations. By valuing these languages, Project Bharat counters the erosion caused by globalization and urban migration. Gurudev's vision is that language is not just communication but a carrier of collective memory and identity. Protecting it nurtures the soul of a community, making Project Bharat not only a social initiative but a cultural renaissance. Now, how are women involved and empowered through Project Bharat? Women's empowerment is central to Gurudev's vision. Project Bharat creates safe spaces where women can gather, learn, and lead. Yoga and meditation sessions aimed specifically at women help foster inner strength and confidence. Training programs provide vocational skills and awareness on health, education, and legal rights. Women volunteers are encouraged to take leadership roles, serving as role models within their villages. Gurudev insists on respectful engagement, recognizing women as key agents of change in families and communities. By uplifting women, the project catalyzes broader social transformation, improving child welfare, education, and economic stability. Moreover, dialogues on gender equality are conducted sensitively, acknowledging local customs while gently challenging harmful ones and norms. These efforts promote harmony, reduce violence, and nurture mutual respect. The project's success stories often highlight women who, through Project Bharat, reclaim their voice and dignity, embodying the true spirit of empowered Bharat. Now, how does the Project Bharat approach environmental sustainability? Environmental care aligns closely with the spiritual values Gurudev teaches. Project Bharat integrates ecological awareness into its outreach by promoting sustainable practices in villages. Volunteers organize tree planting drives, cleanliness campaigns, and workshops on water conservation and waste management. The teachings emphasize harmony with nature as essential for personal and collective well being. Gurudev inspires volunteers and villagers to see the environment as sacred, fostering a stewardship mindset rather than exploitation. Traditional Indian wisdom about respecting rivers, forests, and earth are revived alongside modern environmental science. By encouraging eco friendly livelihoods and reducing plastic use, Project Bharat contributes to creating resilient communities that thrive in balance with nature. This environmental consciousness strengthens the holistic vision of a vibrant Bharat where nature and humanity coexist in lasting peace. Now, what role does elders and community leaders play in Project Bharat? Elders and local leaders are pillars in the villages, and Gurudev's vision honors their wisdom and influence. Project Bharat actively involves them in planning and decision making, ensuring initiatives are culturally appropriate and accepted. Elders share traditional knowledge, spiritual insights, and historical context, enriching the project's activities. Their endorsement lends a credibility and encourages wider participation. Volunteers seek the counsel of community leaders to understand local dynamics and resolve conflicts. This collaborative approach fosters trust and smooths the implementation. By valuing elders, the project strengthens the intergenerational bonds and preserves continuity of culture. It empowers leaders to become ambassadors of peace and development, amplifying Project Bharat's impact. Gurudev believes that honoring elders is a sacred duty as they are custodians of the nation's soul. Now, how does the Project Bharat maintain its non political stance while engaging with communities? Gurudev firmly positions Project Bharat as a spiritual and humanitarian movement beyond political affiliations. Volunteers are trained to avoid political discussions and maintain neutrality. The focus remains on social harmony, well being, and cultural revival, values that transcend partisan lines. This apolitical stance fosters trust across diverse communities. Project Bharat respects local governance structures but does not engage in political campaigning or advocacy. The goal is to uplift people, not polarize them. Gurudev's guidance is clear. When the project keeps its mission pure and impartial, it becomes a unifying force rather than a divisive one. This stance has helped Project Bharat navigate complex social landscapes successfully, gaining widespread acceptance. Now, how do volunteers balance spreading the message with respecting local customs? Volunteers are taught to approach every village with humility, curiosity, and respect. Gurudev stresses that spreading peace and well being must not override local customs or beliefs. Instead of imposing practices, volunteers offer experiences such as meditation or yoga and let villagers decide their participation. They observe local traditions attentively, participate respectfully, and integrate cultural elements into their programs. The balance is maintained through dialogue and sensitivity, avoiding any sense of superiority or urgency. Gurdjieff's vision encourages volunteers to be learners first and teachers second, recognizing the wisdom present in every community. This respectful exchange creates an atmosphere where mutual enrichment happens naturally. Now, how is spirituality integrated into the daily activities of Project Bharat volunteers? Spirituality is the foundation of the volunteers' motivation and practice. Gurudev encourages daily meditation, breathing exercises, and reflective practices to cultivate inner peace and clarity. Volunteers begin their days with their routines, grounding themselves in the mission's deeper purpose. Spiritual principles like compassion, selflessness, and equanimity guide their interactions. The project's activities, be it yoga classes or community dialogues, are imbued with an intention to awaken higher consciousness. This integration sustains volunteers to challenges and enhances the authenticity of their service. Gurudev's teaching is that outer change flows naturally from inner transformation, making spirituality essential for lasting impact. Now, what kind of training do volunteers receive before engaging with communities? Training is comprehensive and designed to prepare volunteers for diverse rural realities. It includes sessions on cultural sensitivity, communication skills, conflict resolution, and basics of yoga and meditation. Volunteers learn about the socio-economic challenges of rural India and the specific goals of Project Bharat. There is an emphasis on humility, patience, and listening skills. Practical modules cover health and safety, use of technology for data reporting, and ethical guidelines. Experienced mentors share field insights and support volunteers throughout their journey. Gurudev ensures training is experiential, preparing volunteers mentally, emotionally, and physically to serve effectively with compassion. Now, how does the Project Bharat adopt and adapt to the varying needs of different regions across India? India's diversity requires flexible, regional specific approaches. Project Bharat encourages volunteers to tailor their programs to local languages, customs, and socio-economic conditions. Before engagement, surveys and dialogues with local stakeholders inform customized strategies. In agricultural regions, focus may be on sustainable farming and water conservation. In tribal areas, on preserving cultural heritage and healthcare access. This adaptive approach respects the regional uniqueness while aligning with the core values. Gurudev's vision is that one size does not fit all. True service listens and responds to each community's heartbeat. This flexibility enhances relevance and effectiveness, fostering deeper connections. Now, what mechanisms are in place for volunteers to share feedback and experiences? Project Bharat has established digital platforms and periodic forums for volunteers to report their activities, share stories, challenges, and best practices. Regular virtual meetings enable peer learning and emotional support. Field coordinators maintain close contact, offering guidance and addressing issues promptly. This feedback loop ensures transparency, continuous improvement, and volunteer engagement. Gurudev views feedback as vital to keeping the movement dynamic and grounded in reality. It also strengthens the sense of community among dispersed volunteers, nurturing motivation and belonging. Now, how does the Project Bharat collaborate with educational institutions? Educational partnerships amplify Project Bharat's reach. Volunteers engage with schools and colleges to introduce yoga, meditation, and values education. Workshops on stress management, concentration, and leadership nurture holistic development among students. Collaborations often include teacher training to sustain programs beyond volunteer presence. Gurudev believes education is a key catalyst for societal transformation and strives to infuse it with spiritual wisdom. By partnering it with the institutions, Project Bharat plants seeds of harmony and self awareness in future generations. Now, what are the long term goals of Project Bharat beyond immediate outreach? Beyond immediate social upliftment, Project Bharat envisions a self sustaining, spiritually vibrant Bharat. Long term goals, including creating networks of empowered communities that uphold peace, cultural pride, and environmental stewardship. The project aims to inspire systemic changes in rural development, integrating ancient wisdom with modern progress. Gurudev hopes Project Bharat becomes a model for holistic nation building, fostering unity amidst diversity. Ultimately, it seeks to awaken the collective consciousness, creating a thriving, harmonious Bharat for generations to come. Now, how do volunteers address mental health issues encountered in rural areas? Mental health is an important focus. Volunteers use simple meditation and breathing techniques to reduce stress and anxiety in villagers. They organize awareness sessions to destigmatize mental health and promote emotional well being. Referrals to local healthcare providers are facilitated when needed. Gurudev highlights that inner peace is foundational to community health. Volunteers whose compassionate presence often provide significant emotional support. This holistic approach integrates mental health into broader well being initiatives. Now, what role does music and chanting play in Project Bharat's activities? Music and chanting are integral tools for creating joy, connection, and spiritual upliftment. Volunteers lead bhajans or devotional songs and mantras that resonate across communities, transcending language and social divides. These practices calm the mind, build a collective energy, and foster a sense of belonging. Gurudev teaches that sound is a powerful medium to open hearts and harmonize groups. Music programs celebrate local heritage and while inspiring peace. Thus, both music is both a healing and unifying force within the Project Bharat. Now, how are children involved in the initiatives of Project Bharat? Children are vital participants and beneficiaries. Yoga and meditation sessions designed for kids promote focus, discipline, and emotional balance. Educational workshops introduce values like kindness, respect, and environmental consciousness. Creative activities like storytelling, art, and games nurture their talents and cultural awareness. Gurudev believes that nurturing children's inner potential builds the foundation for a peaceful future. Volunteers also engage parents to create supportive environments. Through these efforts, children become empowered agents of change in their communities. Now, how does the Project Bharat manage funding and resources? Project Bharat is primarily volunteer driven and with the minimal expenses covered through donations and sponsorships. Transparency in financial management is maintained through regular reporting. Funds support training materials, travel, and community events. Local partnerships often provide in kind support like venues and food. Gurudev encourages simplicity and accountability in resource use, ensuring maximum impact with the minimal waste. This lean model ensures and sustains grassroots momentum while upholding ethical stewardship. Now, how does the project celebrate milestones and success? Jagadev celebrations mark important achievements, boosting morale and community spirit. Festivals, cultural programs, and public recognitions honor volunteers and villagers. These events foster joy, gratitude, and collective pride. Gurudev sees celebration as a vital expression of the human spirit and a way to recharge enthusiasm. Documenting and sharing successes inspires wider participation and continuous growth. Now, what spiritual teachings from Gurudev are most emphasized in Project Bharat? Key teachings include the power of breathing and meditation for peace, the importance of selfless service, and seeing divinity in every being. Gurudev's message of living life with an open heart and an open mind guides volunteers. Values like compassion, forgiveness, and unity underpin the project. These teachings cultivate inner transformation, which fuels outer service. They create a foundation for sustainable social harmony. How does the Project Bharat encourage sustainability after volunteers leave? Sustainability is ensured by training local leaders and forming self help groups. Programs aim to instill practices that villagers can maintain independently. Follow up visits and digital communication support ongoing development. Gurudev stresses empowering communities to be architects of their own future. This approach builds a lasting resilience and ownership. Now, what is the significance of Vedic Dhamma Sanstan's involvement in Project Bharat? The Vedic Dhamma brings a deep rootedness in Vedic wisdom and spiritual discipline to the project. Their officers guide volunteers in ethical conduct, cultural respect, and spiritual teachings. They help bridge traditional knowledge with the modern outreach methods. Their involvement lends credibility and spiritual depth to Project Bharat. This collaboration enriches the project's holistic approach. Now, how does the Project Bharat integrate Ayurveda and traditional Indian medicine into its programs? Project Bharat values the rich heritage of Ayurveda and traditional medicine as vital components of holistic health. Volunteers often conduct awareness sessions on Ayurvedic principles such as diet, herbal remedies, and daily routines of the Dinacharya that promote wellness naturally. The project collaborates with the local Ayurvedic practitioners to organize health camps, offering accessible, affordable, and culturally relevant healthcare. Gurudev's vision emphasizes preventive care through balanced living rather than symptomatic treatment. By reintroducing Ayurveda, Project Bharat not only improves physical health but reconnects people with time tested knowledge rooted in harmony with nature. Additionally, traditional practices like oil massage, abhyanga, yoga asanas, and breathing techniques complement a medical outreach, enhancing vitality and mental clarity. This integrative approach resonates deeply with the rural populations, fostering trust and acceptance. The collaboration with Vedic Sanstha officers ensures authenticity and proper guidance in disseminating Ayurvedic wisdom. This empowers villagers to take proactive responsibility for their health while preserving India's medicinal legacy with the modern developmental frameworks. Now, how does the Project Bharat handle interfaith dialogue and religious diversity in villages? Given India's immense religious diversity, Project Bharat actively promotes harmony by respecting all faith traditions. Volunteers are trained to approach interfaith dialogue with sensitivity, emphasizing shared values like compassion, truth, and service. Gurudev's vision sees spirituality as universal beyond ritualistic differences. Project Bharat organizes inclusive events, where events where diverse religious communities can celebrate festivals together, share teachings, and build mutual understanding. The Vedic Sansthan officers guide these interactions to avoid proselytizing and ensure respect for each tradition by fostering conversations around common humanity and moral principles. The project reduces suspicion and conflict. Such dialogues nurture a culture of peaceful coexistence, empowering communities to transcend religious barriers and collaborate on social welfare. This commitment to unity in diversity embodies the essence of Bharat, where spiritual pluralism is a source of strength rather than division. Now, what is the role of youth in sustaining the vision of Project Bharat? The youth forms a dynamic force propelling Project Bharat's mission into the future. Gurudev enters young volunteers with leadership roles, innovation, and energy. The project trains youth not only in traditional spiritual practices but also in modern communication, project management, and social entrepreneurship. This equips them to address contemporary challenges while staying rooted in cultural values. Youth engage as educators, health promoters, and environmental activists and cultural ambassadors in their communities. Their enthusiasm inspires peers and elders alike, creating a ripple effect. Gurudev encourages you to see service as both a personal journey of growth and a means to uplift society. Sustaining Project Bharat depends on nurturing this new generation's commitment to peace, sustainability, and spiritual wisdom, ensuring that the legacy continues beyond immediate outreach. Now, how does the Project Bharat address challenges like caste discrimination and social inequality? Caste based discrimination remains a sensitive yet critical issue. Project Bharat approaches this challenge through education and empowerment rather than confrontation. Volunteers promote the idea that every individual is inherently divine, regardless of caste or status, aligning with Gurudev's message of universal brotherhood. Community dialogue and cultural programs highlight stories and teachings that celebrate equality and shared humanity by fostering collaborative work and inclusive participation in activities like cleanup drives, health camps, and festivals. The project breaks down social barriers through lived experience. The involvement of local leaders and elders helps navigate complex social hierarchies carefully. While mindful of local sensitivities, Project Bharat persistently plants seeds of respect and dignity for all, envisioning a more equitable Bharat. Now, how is digital technology leveraged in Project Bharat for greater impact? Project Bharat embraces digital tools to amplify outreach, coordinate volunteers, and document progress. Mobile apps and platforms facilitate real time communication, data collection, and resource sharing. Virtual training sessions enable skill building across dispersed regions efficiently. Social media channels help spread awareness, success stories, and inspire new volunteers. Gurudev advocates using technology mindfully to connect hearts and minds without losing personal touch. The project also promotes digital literacy in villages, empowering communities to access information, government services, and markets. By combining ancient wisdom with modern technology, Project Bharat creates a synergistic model of grassroots development suited to today's world. Now, how does the Project Bharat ensure transparency and accountability? Transparency is fundamental to maintaining trust within communities and among volunteers. Project Bharat employs regular reporting, audits, and open communication channels. Field coordinators monitor activities closely, ensuring resources are used effectively and ethically. Feedback from villagers is actively solicited and incorporated into planning. Volunteers uphold a strict code of conduct, emphasizing honesty and responsibility. Gurudev's teachings stress integrity as a spiritual practice, and this ethos permeates the project's operations. Accountability mechanisms also foster continuous learning, enabling adaptation and improvement over time. Now, how does the Project Bharat address health challenges related to sanitation and clean drinking water? Health interventions around sanitation and clean water are key components. Volunteers conduct awareness campaigns on hygiene practices such as hand washing and safe waste disposal. Collaborations with local governments and NGOs help build infrastructure like toilets and water filtration systems. Community led cleanliness drives mobilize collective action, cultivating pride and responsibility. Gurudev's vision recognizes that health is intertwined with dignity and environment. Through holistic engagement, Project Bharat reduces disease incidence and improves the quality of life in rural areas. This effort also empowers villagers to sustain healthy practices independently. Now, what strategies does Project Bharat use to promote agricultural sustainability? Jagadev, agricultural sustainability is vital for rural livelihoods. Project Bharat encourages organic farming, crop diversification, and water conservation techniques. Workshops introduce traditional knowledge alongside modern innovations like drip irrigation and natural pest control. Volunteers connect farmers with government schemes and resources. The project also promotes soil health awareness and use of natural fertilizers. By improving yield and environmental impact, these strategies enhance food security and economic resilience. Gurudev's philosophy integrates care for the earth as a spiritual duty, reinforcing sustainable agriculture as part of holistic well being. Now, how does Project Bharat engage with government agencies and social administration? Collaboration with government bodies is essential for scaling impact. Project Bharat maintains cordial relations with the local administration, aligning its initiatives with the public policies. Volunteers participate in government led schemes and use official resources for community benefit. Such partnerships help avoid duplication for maximize efficiency. Gurudev advises volunteers to respect authorities while remaining independent in spiritual and ethical values. The project acts as a bridge facilitating communication between grassroots communities and policymakers. This synergy enhances Project Bharat's credibility and outreach. How are cultural festivals used as platforms for Project Bharat's activities? Cultural festivals provide vibrant opportunities to engage communities joyfully. Project Bharat organizes specific and special programs during local and pan Indian festivals, blending spirituality, music, dance, and awareness drives. These occasions attract large gatherings, creating ideal moments to introduce yoga, meditation, and social messages. Volunteers participate in traditional rituals respectfully, reinforcing cultural pride. Such festive platforms foster unity and create memorable experiences associated with Project Bharat's values. Gurudev teaches that celebration and service together uplift the collective spirit. Now, how does the Project Bharat support education for marginalized children? Education is a transmitted priority. The project runs on supplementary classes, tutoring sessions, and learning material distribution for underprivileged children. Volunteer sessions and mentor students to build confidence and curiosity. Special focus is given to girl child education, combating dropout rates. Workshops involve parents and community leaders to support sustained learning. Gurudev believes education opens the door to opportunity and dignity. Through these efforts, Project Bharat bridges gaps and nurtures future leaders. Now, how is the spiritual practice of seva or selfless service inculcated among volunteers? Seva is the heart of Project Bharat. Volunteers undergo orientation sessions highlighting seva as a pathway to personal and collective transformation. They are encouraged to serve with without expectations, seeing every interaction as a sacred. Gurudev models seva as a joyful expression of gratitude and compassion. Regular reflections and sharing circles help volunteers internalize these values. Seva creates humility, dissolves ego, and connects individuals deeply with the community and the divine. This ethos sustains the project's spirit and impact. Now, how does the Project Bharat address challenges posed by urban migration in villages? Urban migration leads to demographic shifts and challenges in rural areas. Project Bharat promotes livelihood opportunities locally, such as skill development and small scale enterprises, to discourage unnecessary migration. Awareness on preserving cultural roots and family bonds is imparted. The project also works with migrants' families to support adaptation and integration. Gurudev emphasizes strengthening village ecosystems to create balanced progress. This holistic approach addresses migration's social and economic impacts compassionately. Now, what role does meditation play in conflict resolution within communities? Meditation cultivates calm, clarity, and empathy, key qualities for resolving conflicts. Volunteers facilitate group meditation sessions before dialogue meetings to create a peaceful atmosphere. This practice helps reduce emotional reactivity and opens minds to understanding. Gurudev teaches that inner peace naturally radiates outward, diffusing tension. Combined with respectful communication, meditation becomes a powerful tool for harmony. Communities experience a greater willingness to cooperate and forgive. Now, how is the Project Bharat contributing to the revival of ritual arts and crafts? The project celebrates rural artisans by organizing exhibitions, workshops, and cultural fairs showcasing traditional crafts. It helps artisans access wider markets through digital platforms. Volunteers educate communities on the value of economic potential of their heritage skills. This revival preserves cultural identity and provides sustainable livelihoods. Gurudev encourages honoring artisans as custodians of timeless wisdom and beauty. Such initiatives nurture pride and intergenerational knowledge transfer. Now, how does the Project Bharat support disaster preparedness and relief? Volunteers receive basic training in disaster response and first aid. The project collaborates with local authorities to disseminate awareness on preparedness. In times of natural calamities, Project Bharat mobilizes quickly for relief efforts, distributing essentials and providing emotional support. Gurudev's teaching on equanimity and courage helps volunteers stay calm and effective. This responsiveness enhances community resilience and solidarity. Now, how is the mental health of volunteers supported during challenging assignments? Volunteer well-being is prioritized through regular check-ins, counseling, and peer support groups. Daily meditation and breathing exercises maintain mental balance. Gurudev emphasizes the importance of self-care as foundational to effective service. Experienced mentors guide volunteers in managing stress and burnout. The supportive framework nurtures sustained commitment and joy in seva. Now, how does the Project Bharat promote ethical consumption and lifestyle in villages? Ethical living is introduced through workshops on mindful consumption, reducing waste, and valuing resources. Volunteers model simple living and share practical tips like using eco friendly products and minimizing plastic. Gurudev's teachings encourage living harmoniously with the nature and oneself. These efforts foster awareness and gradual lifestyle shifts conducive to sustainable development. How are traditional stories and folklore used as educational tools? Storytelling sessions incorporate local legends, fables, and spiritual parables to impart moral lessons and cultural values. These narratives resonate deeply, making teachings relatable and memorable. Volunteers adapt stories to address contemporary issues like environmental care and social harmony. Gurudev highlights storytelling as a powerful medium to transmit wisdom across generations. This enriches the educational dimensions of Project Bharat creatively. Now, how does the Project Bharat measure the intangible impact of its spiritual work? While quantitative metrics track health, education, and empowerment, Project Bharat also assesses intangible outcomes like increased community harmony, personal transformation, and collective optimism. Volunteer and community testimonials, behavioral changes, and anecdotal evidence form part of this qualitative assessment. Gurudev teaches that true impact often manifests subtly in hearts and relationships. The project embraces this deeper dimension as the foundation of lasting change. Gurudev.